Take it from us, the Tower 500 might look different on your desk, but here's why you might like it even more. Hi, I'm Mike from Thermaltake, and today we're going to be diving in on the Tower 500. We got an AIO configuration to do, showing you all the ins and outs of the Tower 500, and even some DIY LCS options as well. So let's dive in. What I really like about the Tower 500 is the convenience of removing the panels. The top panel just pops off, unlocking all three of the side panels that just lift up and off of the chassis. This is going to give me lots of access to the inside for my installation. The back panel also has two screws, allowing that to just lift up and off of the case, and then that'll expose the back panel that gives additional storage as well as cooling on the back of the Tower 500. Supporting up to E-ATX form factor motherboards, the Tower 500 does take presentation to the next level and giving you a very unique layout at the same time. The motherboard installs in at a 90-degree angle, so your memory, CPU, and graphics will give you a different orientation and a very unique look that the Tower 500 offers. Using the standoffs and screws with the accessories, we'll mount the motherboard and then go forward with removing the internal panels so we can start getting everything else taken out to get our cooling installed in the bottom, as well as get our cables ready for our power supply. As you can see, these front panels as well come off, opening up even more access here for your simple and straightforward installation. Finishing up the front panel removal, we also have a cooling bracket here in the front to remove as well. Now this can be utilized for either fans or radiators, depending if you want to do DIY LCS applications, or if you just want to have a couple fans in the front there for some nice intake. The Tower 500 does open up with all the rest of those panels, allowing you plenty of room to get in there for cable management and cooling. Supporting a variety of cooling locations for fans and radiators, we'll be using the front bracket here to install two fans for intake. And yeah, those are our tough fans. This bracket allows you to be able to install the fans outside the case, and then we can also put the cover plate back on for easy convenience and put all of it back into the chassis at one time. Now, of course, you do have options for radiators as well, supporting up to a 240mm radiator down there as well with some fans for our custom DIY LCS enthusiasts. And then, of course, a couple of screws will get that panel right back on, and we can move forward with the build. On the back side of the case, we'll remove the internal panel from behind the motherboard. We'll get the cables up out of the way, and you'll see it's just two simple screws to lift the panel up and off. This also acts as a 2.5 and 3.5 inch storage caddy in two locations, as well as some fans. Now you'll see we got a power supply bracket here. It's also removable. I love the convenience of this, especially with a Thermaltake fully modular power supply. I can take the bracket out, I can install it right into my power supply right there on my workbench, get my 4 screws in, figure out all my cables, get those all pre-connected and ready. And oh yeah, the Tower 500 also has a filter there. We'll get the rest of our cables connected for our power supply. We'll go ahead and start installing that in and figuring out where we're gonna route all of our cables. Securing our power supply in, we can start getting our 24, EPS, and other cables routed. And thanks to the Tower 500, several points on the back, both sides, as you can see, you have lots of options there for zip ties to clean up those cables once you get everything figured out. We're going to be getting some of the basics connected up here, and don't worry, we'll be finishing it up later once we get further along in the build, but at least getting an idea of where everything should go. Now moving on to cooling, we got our Tough Liquid Ultra here, and the one thing I like too about the case is this big opening in the back, so I can put the back plate on and then be able to put my cooler on then afterwards while I got some of the cables done. And that's our Tough Liquid Ultra, by the way. We're using the 240 for this application, but the Tower 500 can also support up to 280 on the top, giving 120 or 140 fitments. We'll get the rest of our cables kind of sorted out here as we go forward, and just look at that nice tough liquid cooling. I find it more convenient to lay the system down after the radiator's installed to go forward with installing the pump. And always use thermal paste. We got our TG7 right here for the application. Our Tough Liquid Ultra pump will then go on, but don't forget to peel. Securing it down with the 4 posts and tension screws should be straightforward. And one of the things that I really like about the Tower 500 with the unique motherboard rotation is that the Tough Liquid Ultra screen is also rotatable, so you can always have your screen right side up. Moving forward, we have our expansion slots to remove to prep for our graphics card, as well as installing back our cover panels so we can hide those cables and get everything one step closer to a finished build. Now, one thing to note, the Tower 500 supports up to 325 millimeters in length graphic cards, and as you can see here, it's pretty close. You can also go up to 355 without the cover. PCI Express power connections, and introducing our Pacific R2 Ultra, giving us one more screen here, especially with a different type of memory layout, is going to make the Tower 500 build even more unique. Wrapping up those cables, as you can see, there are cable ties on both sides for convenience, as well as along the top to get everything routed properly. Now for the back panel. Let's toughen it up. There, that's better. Our Tower 500 back panel is an exceptional piece for some additional cooling, which is highly recommended. We do also have some options for storage, and make it your mod your way by utilizing those storage caddies for controllers like our TT RGB Plus ecosystem. We're almost there, just have some panels left to install. When reinstalling the panels back on the case, I'm going to lay it back down on its side as the thumb screws are located on the underside. This allows super easy installation, and I can get all 3 of them put on pretty easy doing it this way. Hope it helps you too. Putting the case right side up, 3 more panels going on with our side panels. Now remember, these side panels are reversible for other options. Snapping the top down, and then putting the last 2 screws on the back. Now we're ready for that first boot. The Tower 500 offers even more with an optional 360mm radiator bracket on the CPU side of the case. Extend your cooling and adjust your ventilation with the reversible side panel, and stay tuned for upgrades coming soon with this optional Ultra accessory for the front. Let us know your take on the Tower 500. And if you like this video, hit that subscribe button for more from us here at Thermaltake.